make sure that they have intercourse only during those days when the egg cells cannot be fertilized. But there is no sure way of knowing which these days are. There are other methods too. Not having intercourse at all is one, but no single method is absolutely perfect for everyone. So couples who do not wish to have a baby ought to find out what is the best method for them. They can get advice from their family doctor or from various family planning clinics.
A mother brings her small daughter to the clinic for immunization. Immunization is a very important procedure. Because of it, many dangerous illnesses have become things of the past, although they could appear again. And many lives have been saved. But like everything else, it's something you need to understand so that you can make up your own mind about it intelligently.
Well, is she allergic to anything that you know of?
No.
Has she ever had any convulsions?
No.
Anybody in the family?
No.
What's this?
A little drink. Oh, a little drink is over.
The vaccine that's injected into the child's bloodstream actually contains viruses or bacteria which cause the illness, but they're in a special form which gives only a mild version of it. In response, the body forms antibodies which destroy the invading virus or bacteria. These antibodies then remain in the blood for some time. If the child or adult then becomes infected by the real, dangerous form of the disease, the invaders are wiped out before the illness can develop and do any damage. As long as the antibodies remain, you're safe against the disease, although you may need to have further booster injections later to keep up your defense. We asked a consultant pediatrician what diseases children should be immunized against.
The diseases that I consider worth immunizing against are the following: tuberculosis, diphtheria, tetanus, whooping cough, poliomyelitis, and probably measles.
Let's take them in turn and see how important they are and whether there are any snags about any of them.
Tuberculosis is a disease which is considered to be fairly uncommon at the present time, but in fact this is not necessarily so. And tuberculosis in a child, although it can be a very minor illness, can lead to very serious secondary conditions. It therefore seems rational that having got a safe form of immunization, one should let everybody have the advantage of it.
Next, diphtheria and tetanus. These are often dealt with by one injection which contains the vaccine for each. First, what about diphtheria?
It is a very serious disease, and it is a safe form of immunization. Therefore, I believe once again that this should be carried out.
And what about tetanus, sometimes called lockjaw?
Tetanus is a disease which is always with us. Anybody who plays in the garden or works in the garden or goes anywhere in the country can quite easily pick up a tetanus germ.
The tetanus germs live in soil, so if you get a cut or scratch in the garden, for example, you can easily pick up the disease. Now, what about whooping cough? There's been some argument about this one.
Whooping cough immunization can be given with safety to most children, but it does require a certain amount of care in selecting children who will be unlikely to have any unpleasant reaction to it.
She's 7 months. The second injection. She has them all. Diphtheria, tetanus, whooping cough, and so on. And was she all right?
So you need to discuss this one with your doctor to make sure it's safe for your child. And it's really only worthwhile for young children because whooping cough's most dangerous in the first year of life.
No, just the colds.
Next, poliomyelitis, polio.
Poliomyelitis is not a disease we often see now, but we could well see at any time.
This vaccine is given orally, and it's important. The disease could become a menace again if people were not kept immune to it. What about the measles vaccine?
Well, now, measles is a disease which can be unpleasant. There is a form of immunization against it, and this again should be considered in any child's immunization schedule.
I see, yeah. Can she eat eggs?
Yeah.
She's okay with eggs.
Measles vaccination can be dangerous for some children. Once again, this is something you must get advice about from the doctor. All parents should understand what the health services can do to protect their children's health. But there are some illnesses which you cannot immunize against, and also children sometimes get injured and they have to go into hospital. A good children's department doesn't look much like hospital.
Where are we? Come. Let's have a look at this. Claire, have a look at this. Let's have a look at this together.
And here's a very important thing. It should be possible for a parent to go into hospital with the child. This mother's here with one of her children. Why is this important?
It's a situation which is a terrifying one for a child, and we believe nowadays that there should be provision for mothers to remain with their children whenever it is possible. Older children, over 6 months, certainly will miss their mother if they're away from her. And I think the mother is probably the best person to judge whether her child will require her or not.
I asked them, could I stay here? And they said, yes, there's no problem. We'll just bring your bed in. And there's a room where we can go and make our own drinks and just like home from home. Just do what you want.
Well, this is the mother and child's room, and Nicola has a bed. And I have my bed with her. Fall down, make up at night, and we have our meals provided. We go down with the children to the ward to eat them.
It wouldn't have got better if I hadn't been here with him.
All children need to play. At this hospital, there's a play expert whose job it is to help the young patients play. We asked if this was important in hospital.
It's perhaps even more important for children in hospital to be able to play because they're in a very abnormal setting. And so by making a normal situation in a normal setting, these children are learning and developing as they would out in the community, and so this doesn't stop. Children in hospital usually find it very difficult to play because it's a very abnormal situation. So these children really need to be helped to play, and sometimes we have to work very hard to be able to help these children do this in this very different situation.
So you should be able to be with your children in hospital, and life should be made as normal for him as possible. But sadly, being in hospital can't always be fun and games. This mother and father are with their child. Why is he here?
Well, I decided that I'd defrost the fridge that morning, and I boiled the kettle, and I placed some boiling water into a small bowl and then into a large bowl, and I'd carried the small bowl into the dining room to put inside the ice compartment and left the larger bowl on the working surface. And Matthew was by me, and I thought he was walking behind me as I was talking to him, and he must have reached up and pulled the bowl on top of him. I just heard him scream, and I just picked him up, and I suppose really I panicked.
And this is what that bowl of hot water did to him. Matthew will need a lot of treatment in the special burns unit, including skin grafting. It's a typical scald on a toddler. The hot water ran down his arm and down his side. His mother's normally very careful, but accidents can still happen.
I've seen so many horrible accidents on the television. I never ever thought. I'm so careful with him, you know, I don't even let people breathe on him in a way, you know.
The main place that accidents happen are, of course, within the home. This is the most unsafe place to be. Most people imagine that accidents occur outside, but statistics show quite clearly that the home is the worst place to be insofar as injury is concerned. The group that are particularly worrying us are, of course, the schools, because the toddler, again being adventuresome, tends to pull onto himself the flex, for example, of electric kettles, pulls onto himself teapots which are standing on the edge of the table, or even gets hold of the edge of the tablecloth and pulls the teapot down on himself with the tablecloth and the cutlery and crockery as well. One other situation where accidents, so far as schools are concerned, in the home is in the bath injury. For example, it is quite wrong to fill a bath with hot water first if you're going to bath the toddler. You should put cold in and then follow this with the hot water.
Claire fell into a bath of very hot water.
I mean, you know, you don't put the hot water in first, but when you're in a hurry, you do these things, don't you? I don't think anybody would believe the damage that it does. You know, you see her now, but if you'd seen her 3 weeks ago, you would never have believed her. It's horrible the way they look.
We asked the surgeon in charge what you should do if someone gets scalded.
Well, the immediate first aid measure for a child who's been scalded is really to put them under the cold water tap and turn the water on so that the area involved is flooded with cold water, which will cool the area and the amount of skin damage will be lessened. I think it's very important to remember that you mustn't cut off the clothing first of all. In the panic of the scald, most people run to get a pair of scissors or start to undress the child. This means, of course, that the hot water trapped in the clothing causes more damage for a longer period of time because the clothing is on the surface of the skin.
Children are rushed to hospital because of other accidents besides scalds. They can fall from furniture or, like one little boy, off a ladder.
I stopped to talk to neighbours next door for about 2 minutes. I was watching the ladder through the window, but obviously he was at the top of it and heard him falling when he was on the ground, concrete, when I got round the back. He's got a fractured temple and a bruise on his shoulder. Oh, he could have been dead.
Look, there's the water.
Always keep an eye on young children, toddlers especially. A fall on steps like these, for instance, could do a lot of damage. What about electrical injuries?
Well, electrical burns in toddlers and small children are very common, and I don't think people realise just how common they can be.
They're often caused by children fooling about, near electrified railway lines, for example.
There's always a great temptation for older children to drop bits of wire and metal onto the line to see the sparks fly. And a common injury when there is a third electric rail, as there are on some railways, is to play chicken across the railway line, as a result of which the child may well stumble in the path of an oncoming train, and even if the child isn't hit by the train, he may well fall across the line and be very severely electrocuted, causing very deep and dangerous burns.
This boy fell across the live conductor rail. He was burned right through to his intestines. Are accidents, especially accidents to children, becoming fewer? The surgeon ought to know.
Poisonings, objects swallowed, scalds, burns are a daily part of our life. We see them all the time. They're always, sadly, here in the hospital, and one would like to think that as time goes by they would decrease. Unfortunately, they don't seem to do so.
Try to protect children against accidents and learn about first aid. Don't leave saucepan handles sticking out where a child might be able to reach them. Have a guardrail around the top of the cooker. Fix fire guards in front of open fires, gas fires and electric fires.
Now, me. Now, we're finished upstairs, so should we just put the gate up? Just mind yourself. There you are.
Safety gates will stop toddlers from straying into dangerous places like the stairs.
Yes, I think we could, don't you? There we are. Okay? Should we go in the dining room then? Let's see what...
This mother's especially careful. She keeps the front garden gates tied up with tape. And they're very careful in the car. A proper safety seat for the little girl and seat belts for the boy, as well as for themselves, of course. Here at the British Standards Institution, we watched some demonstrations of what can happen in car accidents. A young baby should travel in a carry-cot on the back seat of the car, and the carry-cot should be fastened securely by straps to the car's chassis. The sled is now pulled back against thick elastic bands like a giant catapult. When it's released, it'll come hurtling down the track, then come to a dead halt from 50 kilometers, 30 miles per hour. Watch.
Stand by. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now watch it again, in slow motion. The carry-cot's bent about a lot, but the baby inside would have been quite safe. Now suppose we repeat that with the carry-cot not strapped in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It would have shot the baby over the driver and through the windscreen, and it would have been even worse if the baby was in the front seat. Now, a dummy representing a 3-year-old strapped in a child's safety seat which is fixed on the back seat of the car. Once again, it's strapped to the chassis. Here we go.
Stand by. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
He'd be shaken up a bit, but he'd stand a good chance of surviving. Without any restraint, it's sheer murder if there's a bad accident.
Stand by. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And imagine this was the front seat. Even if you were strapped in with him on your knee, he could fly out like a bullet. Your children perhaps one day. And protect children from diseases that can be dangerous. Understand about immunization so that you can make sensible decisions about it. Remember that children in hospitals need their parents.
Get some plates out.
Go all out for safety in the home. Remember what can happen. Always take care.
Finish, Matthew.
Yes, Mama's here.
1. I dare say you've not had many lessons in manners yet.
The Red Queen remarked.
Manners are not taught in lessons.
Said Alice.
Lessons teach you to do sums and things of that sort.
Can you do addition?
The White Queen asked.
What's 1 and 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 1?
I don't know.
Said Alice.
I lost count.
She can't do addition.
The Red Queen interrupted.
Yes, I can.
Said Alice firmly.
If you just give me time.
1 is 1, and 1 is 2, and 1 is 3, and 1 is 4, and 1 is 5, and 1 is 6, and 1 is 7, and 1 is 8, and 1 is 9, and 1 is 10.
10 and 1 is 11.
11? What sort of a word is that? What's 20 and 1, child?
21, of course.
And what's 30 and 1?
31, Your Majesty.
40 and 1?
41.
Well, then,